Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For today's video, I'm going to be checking in with my monthly budget for week 3. So we are going to transfer all of the information from my expense tracker for week 3. Here, we're going to figure out how much we spent in variable spending, what we paid in bills and debt payments, and update my budget to see if we are on track to stick to our budget or if we've gone a little off the rails and we're gonna have to be super careful for the rest of the month. I always like to check in with my budget once a week, and that is this video. So if you are interested in seeing that, just keep right on watching. Alright, so I have all of my expenses for the week here. I filled my expense tracker for the week out with you guys in a previous video, so if you haven't seen that video yet and you'd like to get into the nitty-gritty of what I spent and where, check out that video. This video is just going to be taking that information, plugging it into my budget for the month. So what you are seeing here are my printable budget worksheets that are available in my Etsy shop. I have an expense tracker here. This is my Anchors Away collection, which is this fun like nautical printed collection of worksheets that I released for July. You can of course use them any month of the year because the majority of my worksheets are undated. So if you like this pattern, you can use it in July, you can use it in September. You can print it over and over again as many times as you want and use it all year. So I will have my Etsy shop linked down below if you're interested in getting your hands on these or any of my other budget printables. I do also have a coupon code that'll take 15% off your order. It's YT Friend, so make sure you take advantage of that if you're interested. That's enough of the sales pitch. Let's get into filling in my monthly budget. This here is a hybrid budget 2-page worksheet bundle that I created so that I could keep track of my budget both monthly and by week. This is a really great system that's been working super well for me, so let's get into it. We're gonna start here on the left side of my planner, so I'm just gonna fold it in half. I've got my expense tracker here to easily reference, and we're just going to be filling in what we paid in bills and debt here in this monthly section. We're also going to put the debt payments here under the debt payments section. It's a little bit redundant to have it in both places, but that's just what's been working for me. And then we're going to figure out how much we spent in variable expenses this week and what we have remaining in our monthly budget. So we're going to start here in this monthly section. I'm going to zoom you guys in just a little bit. It's going to cut off the planner a bit, but I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So I have here in my expense tracker my bills and my debt. Bills are in blue, debt is in this dark pink. I always go in when I fill in my expense tracker and highlight everything by category to make it really easy to find the information to then put into my budget here. So for bills, I have YouTube Premium here, and hopefully you guys can see that. I paid $17.99. So right here, YouTube Premium, I actually budgeted $18. So that means that we are under budget in that category, which is awesome. Then we have Planet Fitness, which I paid $10 for. That's right here. And that is what I budgeted. And then for debt, the only debt that we paid this week was our Subaru payment, and that was $650, which is just what we budgeted as well. So looking here, it looks like I have just a few more bills to pay this month. We have my Weight Watchers membership that's going to come out soon, motorcycle insurance, car insurance, and then these couple of minimum payments on my credit cards, our Ashley card, and our First Merchants Bank card. Oh, and Netflix. Can't forget about Netflix. So, still got a couple more weeks in the month, so no worries. Those bills will definitely get paid. Alright, now we'll talk Actually, I'm going to go ahead and flip to the debt payments and go ahead and write in that Subaru payment here as well so we can be done with that. So that came in just as expected. Now we'll start filling in my variable expenses. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of budgeting. This is really where we make or break the budget. Our bills come in and we don't really have a ton of control over them. Yeah, we can turn off the lights and try to lower our electric bill, right? But in general, there's not a ton we can do. But we can spend less on groceries, for example, if we see that we're getting near the end of our grocery budget, or we can, you know, not take as much spending money if we see that we have overspent in that category. So this is really where we have a lot of control over the budget. So the week is the 12th through the 18th. And our categories, as always, are food and household. So this is any groceries, eating out, household items like toilet paper and paper towels, also any pet food, that sort of thing. Then we have gas, which is gas for our vehicle, as well as any car washes I've decided to lump into the gas category. Then we have spending, which is the money we take for our personal spending. This is my son's allowance, as well as my husband and I, our weekly spending money. And then miscellaneous, which just kind of encapsulates anything else that comes up throughout the month that's not covered elsewhere in our budget. So for food and household this week, it's real easy. All I have to do is go to this expense tracker and find it here in my total section. We spent $134.45. So I knew that we didn't have a ton of money remaining in our food and household budget. So I tried to keep it on the lower end, and even though we had one big eating out expense, I think we did a fairly good job. So at the start of the month, I budgeted, let's see, $1,200 for food and household expenses. You guys know the first couple of weeks in July we were on vacation, and we spent more than half of our grocery and household budget while on that vacation. So we only had $452.75 remaining in our budget. So I'm going to take that number, that $452.75, subtract what we just spent this week, which was $134.45, which leaves us with $318.30 remaining in our food and household budget for the rest of the month. That's actually pretty good. I think that that normally would be enough for us to eke by. We did, though, have a situation this week where we needed to replace our water heater, and so my kitchen right now is kind of torn apart. We also are in the midst of replacing the flooring in our kitchen because of the water heater at one point leaked and the floor had gotten soft, and so home projects that have my kitchen kind of torn apart. So we're going to have to keep in mind as we are traversing that kind of issue throughout this next week or so, however long it takes my husband to get all of that project stuff done. Like, we can't just go out and eat every day because we'll fly through this 318 super quick. So we're gonna have to get creative, buy some maybe convenience things from the grocery store, some frozen foods, and just do our best to make our situation with our kitchen work on this budget. And hopefully we'll come in under budget when everything is all said and done. All right, next up we have gas, and as you can see here, we spent $70 this week on gas. That included gas for our Subaru, obviously, filling up our gas tank, as well as a car wash. Because we did so much driving in that, oh no. You guys, I'm looking at this and I'm realizing that I think I made a mistake. So when I was filling in my expense tracker for the week, I thought that I had included a big gas purchase that we made, but now looking at this and seeing that it says we spent $61 last week, I think that I messed up. So I thought that I had included a big gas purchase that we had made in week 2, but I think I didn't. So what am I gonna do here? This is real time, catching my own errors here. I'm gonna go back to last week's expense tracker and just see. Oh, that's not last week. Last week's on the back of here. Kroger gas, $61. So I need to double check and see if I left off a gas transaction. I'm going to go into my credit card statement really quickly and see if I left it off. And if I did, we're in trouble with my gas budget. So give me just a second to double check and see whether or not it's been accounted for. All right, you guys. So, yeah, I messed up. When we got home from vacation, we had used my husband's truck from work to go back and forth to our camper to haul something. And I totally forgot to account for the gas we put in the truck. And that was $80. So looking here, if I look at our gas, we had $139 remaining last week. If I take away the, what did I say it was this week? 70? No, that's last week. Confusing myself here. Yeah, 70. That only leaves us with 69, which isn't enough to cover that $80 we put into the truck. So what I'm going to do, this is thinking on my feet here and figuring it out. I'm actually going to go to my sinking funds, and I'm going to take the money out of our car maintenance sinking fund to cover that. Otherwise, we're just going to be like completely out of gas money, and we still have time left in the month, and we're probably going to have to fill up again. Sorry, I just got a phone call and got distracted. So the fund here then is, I could take it out of camping because technically that was a camping expense, but I think we've already gone through quite a bit of our camping money, so I'm just going to take it out of car maintenance. We're going to make it work. Yeah, we'll do $80. My husband and I had discussed the possibility of taking that money out of our car sinking fund. And somehow it just fell through the cracks and I totally forgot about it. So it's really, really good that I remembered that. Otherwise, at the end of the month when I was figuring everything up, my numbers weren't going to match. I was going to be $80 short. So yeah, we had to put gas in the truck. That was $80. So that's how we're going to make that work. So we're still going to say that this week then that we spent that $70. Whew, I'm so glad that I caught that. This is real life budgeting here, you guys. And this is why you really should go in on a daily basis and update your expense tracker and not wait till the end of the week, because things can easily fall through the cracks. I can't tell you the number of times that that's happened to me, but it's usually just like $10 or $15 here or there that somehow got neglected. $80 is a big deal. So for our monthly budget, we're going to say we spent $70 this week. $139 is what we had remaining in our gas budget last month. At the start of the month, I gave us $200, which in hindsight now wasn't enough considering that we had to go back and forth to our campground a couple of times. But live and learn, make it work. There's no wrong way to budget. I want to make sure that you guys know that I know that, and as long as I can make the numbers work, I'm happy. I don't get too caught up in semantics with what category I take what out of and where the money comes from. As long as, you know, it's not going on a credit card. Sometimes it has to go on a credit card, right? But the idea is to do my best to cover everything with our monthly budget or with our sinking funds so that it doesn't have to go on a credit card. All right, so $139 minus the 70 is $69. So that leaves us with $69 for the rest of the month, which should be more than enough. because we're just going like back and forth to the gym and the grocery store for the rest of the month. Oh, and Austin's soccer practice. Should be more than enough. Definitely wouldn't have been enough though if we took this full $69 and put it towards the gas in the truck. Right? Make sense? Okay. For spending money, we spent $100. Last week we had $300 left, so that leaves us with $200 for the remaining weeks in the month, and then miscellaneous. So we started out the month with $100. So far throughout the month we had spent $18.72, leaving us with $81.28. If we take that $81.28 and we subtract out the $30 that we spent this week for my son's haircut, that leaves us with $51.28 remaining for miscellaneous. Alright, so crisis averted. We made all of that work. Everything's all good. So now we can go ahead and add up what we spent this week in variable expenses. So that's $134.45 plus $70 plus $100 plus $30 for a total of $334.45. And that leaves us remaining overall for our variable categories. Because like I said, I don't get too caught up in semantics. If we overspend in food and household, but we underspend in gas and it equals out, I'm okay with that. So overall, we have $638.58 remaining in variable expenses. And to double check that, I'm going to take this $973.03 that we had remaining at the end of last week, subtract what we spent this week, and hopefully we'll get this $638.58. And if not, oh yeah, $638.58 remaining. So we're good to go. All right, my friends. So that's it for my weekly check-in. We had to do a little bit of creative budgeting this week to make it all work out. Luckily, I caught that little mistake of mine, and the gas got covered one way or another. And so for the rest of the month, let's take a look and see here. So I'm going to flip to my calendar. That was through the 18th. So we have the 19th through the 31st remaining. So week 4 then is going to be the 19th through the 25th, because I always go Friday or Tuesday to Monday, just because we get paid on Tuesday. So that's what makes sense to me. So that'll be week 4, and then we will have a 5th week here, the 26th through the 31st. So not quite a full week, but almost. So we still have 2 full weeks of budgeting to get to, or nearly 2 full weeks. We only have $318.30 in our food and household budget, so that might be interesting to make that work. We have $69 in gas, which is hopefully going to be more than enough. $200 here in spending, so that's $100 for week 4, $100 for week 5. That's perfect. And then miscellaneous. Now, if we go over budget in any of these categories, that'll mean we have less for sinking funds. So, really hopeful that we will not have to go into this $1,000 here that we have set aside right now for sinking funds. If we do, then we'll just have to kind of deal with that when the time comes. So that's a look at my check-in. I'm going to go ahead and get my expense tracker put back in here. And that's going to do it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you'd give the video a thumbs up. That really helps out my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love it if you would do that. And yeah, that's going to do it for today. I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care. Bye.